Principles of Early Childhood Education. Today, under this topic, we are going to deal with the lesson Program Planning in Early Childhood Education. The objective of this lesson is to understand the benefits and principles in program planning, to understand different types in program planning, to understand the steps in program planning, and to understand the curricular framework for early childhood education, to understand the points to be followed while implementing the early childhood educational programs. Planning can be defined as a process of setting goals, developing strategies, and outlining the implementation arrangements and allocating resources to achieve these goals. What are the benefits of program planning? Planning enables us to know what should be done and when. Without proper planning, projects or programs may be implemented at a wrong time and in wrong manner, and the results are in poor outcomes. Planning helps to mitigate and manage crises and ensure smoother implementation. There will always be unexpected situations in programs and projects. However, a proper planning exercise helps reduce the likelihood of these and prepares the team for dealing with them when they occur. Planning improves the focus on priorities and leads to more efficient use of time, money, and other resources. Having a clear plan or a roadmap helps us to focus limited resources and on priority activities. That is, one must most likely to bring about the desired change. Without a plan, often get distracted and many competing demands. Similarly, projects and programs will often go off track and become ineffective and inefficient. So, planning helps to determine what success will look like. So, as for any program, even early childhood education program also needs a proper planning of the program. As we already know, what is early childhood education? Early childhood education is the education of the child from 3 to 6 years of age. So, now we look into the principles in program planning for early childhood education. The basic principles are: a climate of certain degree of freedom for the child. It provides the child with many opportunities for spontaneous play. It should be unstructured in the initial stages, then they may be gradually introduced to the structured play, which enables them to learn certain fundamentals of language and numbers. Learning activities must be doing activities. The child needs experience. The child learns better if they do the activity on his own. The teacher should not do anything for him. Activities may be around the real objects and situation. The children learn easily many things when they are exposed to nature. For example, they can learn about rain during the rainfall. And the next principle is a well-planned schedule. Planning of activities makes the teachers and the child's day more pleasant and fruitful. Observing a child during the free play enables the teacher in understanding the child's readiness towards the formal learning. Language as a tool for learning activities. As the language competencies grow, the children may be encouraged to talk about what they see and how they feel about a particular thing. Conversation with them should be simple and accurate. The next important principle is individual attention. The teacher should develop a rapport with each child and pay individual attention and recognition. These are some of the principles that has to be followed while planning a program for early childhood education. An early childhood education program should be flexible and innovative. The teacher has to be clear about the long-term developmental objectives. She has to provide a balanced early childhood education program for the children. Now, first we will look into the long-term planning. Long-term planning means drawing up a program for the full year. This should be done in terms of specific developmental objective to be promoted, identification of the themes for the year which would come from the content of the program. The materials required for conducting these activities should be planned. The long-term planning is also called as yearly planning. This planning is with regard to learning experience of the children, equipment, teaching and learning materials or the play materials, and budget for the basic infrastructure facilities. The learning experiences for children. In this learning experiences for children, the planning should be the teacher formulate broader goals and then develop the stages of reaching the broader goals. This planning also includes the educational trips to be organized and other activities such as celebrating festivals, nature walks, etc. should be noted down for the whole year. And then coming to the equipment. With regard to the equipment and other play material, new items should be ordered. Old items are to be replaced or repaired. Budget. The teacher has also need to plan the budget to accommodate the purchase of play materials and other equipments needed. These are the long-term plannings. Then, after knowing about the long-term planning for early childhood education programs, let us now move on to see what are the short-term planning. The weekly, daily planning is referred to be the short-term planning. Each day's planning should be detailed. It should include the developmental objectives to be promoted, the theme, the specific activities to be included and the material required. For effective functioning, it is necessary to divide the whole year plan into smaller units, that is monthly, semester wise or weekly planning. Certain experiences are planned and carried out for the children throughout the year, whereas some experiences are planned only at the beginning of the year, that is when the children are newly enrolled. After the short-term planning, we are going to see the weekly planning. On the basis of the program planned for the month, the teacher planned the activities for the week even before it commences. She plans the project themes week-wise and organizes various activities relating to the project assigned in the week. Then, daily lesson planning. Daily lesson planning involves defining the objectives, selecting and arranging the subject matter and determining the method of procedure. It indicates the aims to be realized while teaching a lesson and the methods to be employed and the activities to be undertaken. Daily planning is the duty of the teacher to plan the activities based on the weekly project themes. So, these are the different types of planning for early childhood education programs. Now, let us look into what are the characteristics of a good lesson plan. A lesson plan should clearly state the general and specific objectives to be achieved. It should clearly state the various steps the teacher is going to take and the various questions to be asked in the class. The material of instruction should be carefully selected and organized. There should be a provision for audio-visual aids, and the plan should be divided into units, but care should be taken to see that the lesson remain integrated as a whole. The children must be given enough scope to be active. It should not make them mere passive listeners. It should provide for the individual differences by justifying the students of varied capacities. The plan should indicate the duration of the period and should be flexible so that the teacher can make changes. A good planning should provide desirable learning experiences that are educationally significant. So, these are the characteristics of a good lesson plan. After knowing the principles and different types of planning, let us now move on to see what are the steps in curriculum planning. Teaching young children requires much preparation. It must be planned and organized before the child arrives. Several vital parts of the planning include choosing the activities or themes and overall goals for the entire unit. Brainstorming the activities to teach or support a theme, that is a unit plan. Determining the daily activities and making sure to have a balance of the different kind of activities. And deciding on the daily schedule of activities. And finally, setting objectives for each activity and organizing the lesson plan. Preparing the materials, resources and organizing each of these materials for every activity should also be done before the child arrives in the class. Arranging the room environment is also very important. So, after this, let us now have a look into the theme, how to plan a theme. A unit theme or a concept must be selected before planning can take place. The possibilities of unit themes are infinite. For example, for one week the teacher can plan on seasons, and another week it can be animals, and then it can be time, and then it can be birds, or etc. like that. Then unit plan. Once the theme is selected, the unit plan can be constructed. A unit plan includes numerous possible activities for coordinating and carrying out the unit. It results from brainstorming ideas and experiences in various areas of curriculum. For example, science experience, art activities, excursions, food experience, music experience and language and arts. It encourages the teacher to plan coordinated activities that supports general theme. For example, a theme on seeds for 3 to 6 years child can include the activities like this. For example, in art, they can have a figure or a screen painting with the seeds, and excursions, the teacher can take the child for a nature walk and explain about seeds. Food experience, the popcorn making or preparation of seed sprouts can also be given to the child as a food experience. Science. Under science, the teacher can plan activities like observing the stages of the seed growth. Music. Many rhymes are there on seeds, so the children can be taught any rhyme on seeds under music experience. So, these are some of the ways of planning a theme to give different types of experiences to the child. Next comes the activity plan. Once the unit plan has been developed, the teacher selects the specific experience to include in the teaching. This selection should be made with respect to the goals and the teacher desires to accomplish the following particular themes. An activity plan, which is a section of activities planned for each day throughout the duration of the unit. It provides the teacher with an overview and enables the unit to be viewed in its perspective. So, this is about the planning. After the theme planning, let us now move on to see the lesson plan. After the unit is seen in a broad perspective through the activity plan and specific defined with daily schedules of activities, then the lesson plan takes place. This lesson plan adds to the procedure for the activities and reminds the teacher of the overall goals and specific objectives to be accomplished. So, these are the curriculum planning steps. The factors can be related to the child, the factors can be related to the parent, the factors can be related to the school, and sometimes the factors are related even to the society. First of all, we will consider the child related factors. When we are planning a program for the early childhood education, we have to look to some of the factors related to the child, like the number of the children or the strength of a group. The curriculum planning is mainly influenced by the number of children in the early childhood education center. The group should not be too large. Space arrangements, the age structure of the child, the staff will be the other factors which determine the curriculum planning in that group. There should be only 20 children in a group, and young children profit from the group experience only if they can receive individual care and attention when they need it. The second most important child related factor is the age range of the child. Based on the ages of the children, activities have to be planned keeping their developmental needs in mind. For older age group children, more of the formal and organized group activities can be planned as their interests are sustained for a longer periods of time. Then the next important factor is the individual needs of the child. The curriculum should represent the needs of each child. It should be constructed in terms of the nature of the learner basing on their strengths and limitations. These are some of the child related factors. Then we will move on to see what are the parent related factors affecting the program planning of early childhood education. Then the next factor is expectation of the parents. The teacher should form a partnership with the parents through home visits, frequent communications and welcoming attitude towards volunteering parents and classroom observations, and plan the curriculum in such a way to keep the cultural background of the children and their parental expectations about the learning outcomes of the child. For example, urban parents' expectations differ the learning expectations of the children from a parent who is having a rural background. And the next important parent related factor is the needs of the parents. So these are the two important factors which can affect the curriculum planning of early childhood educational programs. Next is the center or school related factors. The important factor is the philosophy or the objective of the school. It is an important factor in curriculum planning. There are different philosophies related to early childhood education. If a teacher wants to adopt any specific system and follow their philosophy and objectives, she has to formulate a curriculum according to that goal or that philosophy. The duration of the program. The curriculum varies from one center to the other. The child gains from early childhood centers when it supplements his home experiences. For younger age group, the duration should not exceed more than 3 to 4 hours a day. For older age group, depending upon the type and number of activities, the duration of the day can be planned. And the next important factor is the location of the school, where the school is located. Depending upon the location, the program planning also varies. For example, urban schools may be in position for providing rich experiences which have easy accessibility. They can easily take the children for a wide range of experiences like to an airport, to a zoo, to a railway station, etc. Whereas this is not possible if the early childhood educational center is in rural areas. Infrastructure facilities. The curriculum depends on the infrastructures available in the early childhood education centers. The good spacious building, playground and equipment facilitate a variety of program. The classroom design should contain large areas of learning centers with easy access to restrooms and sinks. And the next important factor is the financial position of the school. Availability of the funds for organizing the programs is another important aspect in deciding the type of curriculum. If there is adequate funding, the children can be provided with more field trips, more first-hand experiences. Similarly, more equipment and material for other activities could be made available to provide varied experiences to the child. The next important factor is the teacher training and experience. The trained and experienced teachers would be able to do the curriculum planning in a better way. Training and experience enhances the competences of the teacher to deal with the children in more effective way. And the next important factor is the teacher-child ratio. Each child is unique with different needs, interests and capacities. and they come from different family backgrounds. So, it is the duty of the teacher to provide individual attention so that every child feels secure and wanted. Appropriate teacher-child ratio encourages the bonding between the child and the teacher. This is possible only when the ratio between the teacher and the child is very small. The ideal teacher-child ratio is 1:20. So, these are some of the school related factors affecting the curriculum. Then we will move on to see what are the society or the community related factors affecting the program planning of early childhood education. Impact of policies. The states generally hold the power to set enforce minimum standards, grant license to the schools and certificates to the teachers. Most states provide aid in running the early childhood education programs. To receive the financial aid, the schools are required to meet certain standards of curriculum, qualification of the teachers, number of working days and the playground facilities, etc. The next important factor is the expectations of community. The teacher should form a partnership with the parents through the home visits, frequent communication and welcoming attitude, so that the cultural background of the parents as well as the community can be considered while planning the activities for the child. Then the needs of the society. The curriculum should represent both the society and the child needs. It should be constructed in terms of the nature of the learner. The children influence the program. The school is there for them. The teachers have to plan the programs to help the children to reach their potential. These are some of the factors affecting the program planning. The curriculum should be flexible. The growth of the children is dynamic. Hence, the program should not be rigid. It should be flexible and center the activities of the children. Flexibility should be on the basis of individual differences, the seasons, availability of resources and the teacher's resourcefulness, etc. At the same time, it should be challenging, simple, stimulating, keeping the interest of the children in mind. And the next important characteristic is balance between the group and individual activities. The teacher should make sure that each child gets an opportunities for individual work as well as group work. Then the balance between the free play and guided activities. Each day for a certain amount of time, the children should be allowed to play on their own. It gives an opportunity to explore, investigate and to find out what are the different possibilities of using different types of play material. The guided activities are teacher initiated, where the planning is done by the teacher before presenting them to the whole group. The next important characteristic is active play followed by a passive play. The program should be one after the another, that is, first the active play and then the passive play. The next important characteristic is the curriculum should be functional and meaningful. The program should be functional and meaningful and it should be related to the project theme. Activities should be related to the society and community and should inculcate the socially approved values. And the curriculum should cater to the developmental needs of the child. Based on the developmental needs and capabilities of the children of different age groups, the program has to be planned. The curriculum should be focused based on the complexity of the activities and the individual child's developmental needs should be considered. The next important characteristic is the curriculum should provide concrete first-hand experience. The child should be given opportunity to explore and manipulate things. The teacher has to plan the field trips and nature walks for the child to get the first-hand experience. The curriculum should meet the overall development of the child. The program should aim at enhancing the overall development of the child. These are the characteristics of a curriculum planning. So, today we started with what is early childhood education, that is the education of the child from 3 to 6 years of age. Then we have seen what is the importance of program planning in early childhood education. As for any program, for early childhood education also program planning is necessary, and we have understood that the planning can be the long term planning and the weekly planning or monthly planning and then the daily planning. And we also understood that all this planning should bring out the objectives or the learning outcomes of the child. And then we have also tried to understand what are the characteristics of a good lesson plan. And then we have seen what are the factors that are affecting the program planning of early childhood education. Then we moved on to understand the characteristics of good curriculum planning. So, today we try to understand the topic, the program planning on early childhood education. Hope you have understood the lesson. Thank you.